Hello everybody, welcome back to my little corner of the internet where I never stick to one type of video for more than a month. Luckily, making that last video about the Poltergeist Diaries a few months ago has sparked some motivation to rewatch it again, like I haven't done that before. And also just to explain what it is so you don't have to watch it yourself. I mean, you can go watch it yourself, please. Support the creator guy, whatever. But I know a lot of people are lazy, like me, so I'm gonna do the not lazy thing and help you guys out. Also, apparently in that last video, my sister saw that I misspelled, was it potholes? No, plot holes to potholes. I had it written down as potholes instead of plot holes. And she didn't let that go. Anyways, there are 34 parts in the series. Each one is getting kind of better as time goes on. I actually wrote this script kind of with bullet points. It was actually after I made that video, so you can do the math there. Okay, enough dilly-dallying. Let's get into it. As I said previously, it starts with Mason, the main character, stating the date, which was October 24th, 2012. He says that he moved into our place, so I guess it means that Holly was implied beforehand, and before actually taking note of that, I thought that she was just randomly thrown in there. But she was on a trip or something. He says that the previous owners left in the middle of the night because the house was haunted. He didn't sound convinced of it, but he decided to set up cameras, and he does say he's gonna use a Ouija board, but I guess didn't plan on actually finding it. He didn't get the Ouija board himself. But basically the whole video is just a tour. Says some rooms have a strange and heavy feeling. Apparently I really like the kitchen. I do really like the kitchen. Points out a low hum as he's giving the tour. So like if you listen closely, you can hear like a low frequency sound constantly playing in the background.
Like a low roar.
You could argue that it's like the heater or, I don't know, the AC. Some function in the house. He says he's pretty spooked. I think those are his exact words. So he's got the cameras up and going and he's watching TV. Like the lamps turn off. There's some freaky whisper stuff and more light flickering. Honestly, the whispering sounds pretty faked, but I've already talked about that in the last video. What is bro watching? What was he watching? There was like some woman dancing. I don't know. This should not be for kids. And then it was end of day one. Off topic, but what does he do for work? Really good at suspense, even though nothing is happening. Oh, this is me praising it. Might have to do with the ambience. Something does happen. The house alarms go off, and I didn't expect them to happen. Episode 1, but here we are. You can hear a scream as the house is having a fit, and it sounds like Catherine, and if you didn't watch the last video, Catherine is the name of the poltergeist who is haunting him. He runs out of the house and ends part 1. Poor neighbors, in parentheses. I would probably file a complaint about that. He wakes up in his car because he drove away from the house. He says he's gonna fix the house, goes back and checks up on everything, tries to do a cinematic thing, faked. Do I want to debunk? I told you I haven't done these notes in forever, so I'm very surprised at everything that I'm reading. But yeah, he tries to do this fake cinematic thing where he like walks into the house. But the attic stairs are down. Once again, building suspension, and even though I praised it in the last part, there is a point where suspension is overdone. Very few movies and films have been able to execute it. Keeps calling up to the attic. Eventually just goes up there and finds a Ouija board. Gonna use it for answers, and he does research on how it works, which is very smart. Randomly videoing in the middle of the night because he thought he heard something. He walks around in the dark. I have a little note here that says, why doesn't anyone turn their damn lights on? That's what I'm saying. Like, I know in the future their power will stop working, but in this moment he could have just turned the lights on. The board is on the ottoman and he puts it away So I'm assuming it was kind of like brought out onto the ottoman by the spirit or the whatever that is haunting him. He locks himself in the bathroom, which you will find is a common theme. There's banging on the door. Apparently the power went out. Oh, okay. Apparently the power went out, so that explains the no lights thing. I feel like I should have put that sooner. He walks out and he's looking around. There's literally nothing. Nothing happened at all. Like in the house, he doesn't see anything. So I think that's what that bullet point meant. Part 4. We're getting through this like a breeze. And just a disclaimer really quick. I only have notes for half the series. So I will have to eventually finish rewatching it. I think I only got up to part 17. Oh yes, part 17 is where I'm supposed to stop. But I have notes for part 18, and if I feel like it, I will read those too. It's like 2 minutes long. It's just light stuff. Oh, it's just recordings of like the lights in his house. The couch gets knocked over, and there's a ghost of a kid or something. Bro needs to make his mind up on the types of ghosts he's got. That's true. In the earlier episodes of the series, he's very indecisive over what kind of ghosts are haunting him and what their abilities are. Yapping about how physically and mentally exhausted he is, he points out the ghost kid when playing back the footage, and the whole part is like a minute long. I kind of can't wait to start talking about the parts that are at least 10 minutes, because those ones actually get somewhat good. His nieces stay with him for some reason. Why would you have your nieces stay with you if your house is haunted? Like, let's think in terms of if this scenario is like real and it's not faked. Why would you have kids stay at your house? Because these kids don't even look no older than 10 years old. So what are you doing, man? He keeps them occupied by turning on the TV and they play around on the ottoman. They're doing like cool flipping stuff. Like, yeah, check this out. Wow, you know? But then the lights start flickering and they get scared. Honestly, if I was a kid and I was doing some cool stunts on an ottoman and the lights randomly flickered, I would have gone, that was weird, and brushed it off, because I'm still not that aware. Like, if I am haunted right now, I have not noticed. They hear a door slamming though, and then the lights fully go off, so then that's a more understandable reason to get scared. They say they want to go home. There's the scene, oh yeah, in the last video I talked about how there was like it was like a debate. I don't know if it was controversy, but I know it was debate on whether or not the kid getting dragged off of the couch was like the actual kid or a doll. So this is the episode where it's that scene where the kid is being dragged off the couch. Ooh, I have some of Mason's words in verbatim. The events of that night were so terrifying that I didn't even have a presence of mind to document it. Okay, man. So whatever happened off camera must have been really bad. Especially considering that the kid was literally in a state of shock and drew a bunch of creepy drawings of a demon, so, you know, off-camera mining. There were 2 entities in his drawing, one being larger than the other. Can't really relate them to Catherine's appearance, though, because they looked much different than her and how she looked, because they had, like, spiky hair upwards, while Catherine looks like an actual woman. Part 7. He fucks with the Ouija board. That's great. Hopes it brings some positive. There isn't one positive thing that happens after this. In fact, this actually sends his whole life downhill. He sets up the Ouija board and asks some questions. He asks if there's someone in here, and it says yes. What's your name? And it says many. Where are you? He says, and something moves, and he just kind of ends the session. Important tip about Ouija board sessions. Really important. Always say goodbye before you put it up, because then you're leaving the door open for them, and all he does is like blow out the candles and puts it away. He said he did research, but he goes around the house with a flashlight. I'm assuming that, the power's out again because he's not using his light switches. The attic stairs are down again. So he decides to go up and gets jump scared. It looks like he had, I remember I paused it and it looked like he had a doll or a puppet or whatever, because you can like see the hair. He jumps down and runs out of his house driving away. He's driving away so quickly that he doesn't even stop at the stop sign and he just turns. I have arrest this man as a note. He crashes at the gas station and apparently it grabbed him. And it says, assuming this is when he moves. I'm pretty sure it is. Part 8. It's like 3 minutes. It's pretty short, and it's just him going back to the house, and it is wrecked. So yeah, he moves. Where's the money for these houses, by the way? I love how a lot of my notes are just me questioning about his financial life, because what? New house! My favorite place ever in horror media is this house, because I've seen it so many times, so you wouldn't even need to show me where the bathroom is, because I know where it is! I really love that house. Like, genuinely, I would live in that house, except I would not need that much space. That is a big house. Where is the money for these houses that he's got? He's got a lot of new stuff, because a lot of it was broken, so like the couch was replaced. I'm sure he's got some pictures and stuff that were replaced. He has new pictures that I don't think were in the old house, but and he gives a house tour! It's great. I'll play a little montage of him giving a house tour. Just recording in the middle of the night to tell us that nothing is wrong. But there is something definitely wrong. Don't jinx yourself, man. Knock on wood. Footsteps and doors and such being messed with, so he goes out to find it. Side note, something that always bugged me is the red and blue vignette around the camera. I don't know how to describe it, but it's red and blue and it's always bugged the shit out of me. Turns out that there was a box that was knocked over upstairs, and it had, you guessed it, the Ouija board. Yay, because he was an idiot and didn't say goodbye to it, so now it's followed along to say goodbye to him itself. The door slams behind him and he goes, "It's here." It's funny to me because I put a little emoji next to it. Part 11. A minute long, and it's just a recap of what's been going on. So it's like setting up cameras and all that. A lot of activity in that one room he found the Ouija board in, I think. He says he's gonna contact some experts, and he does, eventually. Part 12 is also supposedly really short because there's 2 bullet points. Just some recordings of ghost stuff. I don't know what that means. And there's like a black figure or whatever. He did research and found out that he can do a self-cleansing, which obviously doesn't work because there's like 20 more parts of the series. He hears footsteps and he decides to just use some sage and black tea. I was calling his cap ugly. He doesn't use anything religious, which is probably like a bad idea, and he just tells it to get out. I'm 18, and when I was little, I could do this better than him. Not a flex or anything, but I watched those videos when I was younger. I also watched Supernatural, so goes upstairs after his sage burnt out. He tried to enter that one active room and he gets pushed out, and so now he's got marks on his arm or something. I don't know. So obviously the sage didn't work. Part 14 is the Kevin episode! I don't know if I've expressed how dear Kevin is to me and my family, and by me and my family I mean me, my sister, and my dad. Yeah, really excited for this. We meet him, and Mason explains how he was super interested in the case and he's gonna be there for a couple of months. Actually, longer, because if you've seen my last video about the series, then you know what happens. Kevin is from PRGA, which is probably like Paranormal Research Group of America, but I looked it up and they don't exist, so either they're not around anymore or it further gives evidence for my theory that the series is faked, which there's a lot of evidence for that, but we're not going to focus on that. He stays in that one room that Mason wasn't even allowed in, the one that he was pushed out, and sets up a camera, so maybe the ghost was picking favorites or something. Actually, you can see why, because there was an apparition hovering over him when he was sleeping. Part 15. Eric is here now. Yay. Mason gives him a tiny tour, and then they go over some videos together. After the videos, they do some nighttime exploration with lots of fancy equipment. They're checking temperatures and asking questions and stuff, just a bunch of paranormal investigator stuff, whatever. What is Eric doing? Why is he a freak?
Are you the keymaster?
Dude, this shit's awesome.
What are you talking about? Anyway, they continue their research the next night. They do, in fact, hear something. Eric says, is it Eric or was it Mason? It doesn't say who, but it just says fucking dumbass after, quote, why don't you show yourself? This is when the kitchen explodes. And there are house alarms. And they run away to stay at an inn. I guess I take it back that there was house alarms in the middle of the series as well, but whatever. Hi, Editing Lou here. I originally had a comment about how I noticed that in the description of all of the videos, there was an advertisement for the channel's other series called Parapsychosis, which in the previous video about this topic, I explained how it was originally called the Poltergeist Diaries of Anna Hirschfield, but recently it's been updated to be advertising the Poltergeist Diaries series on Found, which I don't know what that is, but it's on there now. Back to the contents of the video. Kevin left a note for Eric and Mason to find when they woke up. He said he was going to go back to the house, and so that's where they head to. When they arrive, the house is a mess, and Kevin isn't there. Ooh, if you saw the last video, then I think we all know where this is going. Curiosity killed the Kevin. The bathroom next to the attic has his camera and the word attic written in the mirror, or on the mirror in lotion. Mason goes up to the attic to see if Kevin is up there, and he's not. Oh, but there was a scream downstairs. Okay, obviously there wasn't anything. After their failed attempt at finding Kevin, they plug in the PC and go over the footage on his camera. And what they see is spine-chilling. Play the footage. So yeah, he was in some pretty deep water with the ghost for some reason, and it was not a good idea to go back. The poltergeist was manifested as a black figure that resembled a woman and started screaming. And then Kevin locked himself in the bathroom before the video ended. They call for a missing persons report right after viewing the footage, but they have to wait 24 hours before they can really start looking. Eric tries to file another report and ends up choking on water. Oh, it wasn't water, he just couldn't breathe. Why do I have these notes that aren't corrected? So I'm just spreading misinformation. Mason asks how the call went and Eric says it was the freakiest thing. The guy asked if I checked the attic. Actually, yeah, it's pretty freaky. So that night, they go and search around the house again, searching for answers, mainly about Kevin, but you know. They decide to check upstairs, and then Mason turns the corner a little bit, and then boom, demon girlfriend. He doesn't see her, but I do. She disappears from the hallway, but Mason finds her downstairs around the corner. Now, in the notes, it says that the part 2 will contain part 18 to part 34. I've already got like half an hour or more of editing, so I think I will leave it off here. If you liked learning about this niche and unknown series that's kind of really bad, and for some reason I really liked it a lot when I was a kid, then yeah, like if you liked, subscribe if you feel like it, and I will see you in the next video.
Is it gonna be scary?
I think that whatever happened in that area, that's the source. That house is the source of your all's issues. Remember when I was like, Catherine,